When you find yourself in a stressful situation, shouts echoing, pressure weighing you down, and harsh words relentlessly aimed at you, that's when you're dragged into a pointless argument. Have you ever wondered, after those disputes, why do you gain nothing? Your mind left in chaos, your body exhausted. Such conflicts, from a friend's mockery to a vicious online comment, quietly rob you of something precious. Your energy, your time, and your peace. What's more troubling is that you don't realize you've willingly stepped into that vortex, time and time again. Listen to this story. In the 17th century, in a distant land, the renowned warrior Leon once faced an enemy not with sword and spear, but in a verbal duel amidst a crowd. Leon's opponent, an arrogant young man named Victor, relentlessly provoked him, shouting insults to goad him into a battle of honor. The crowd held their breath, expecting Leon to draw his weapon. But Leon stood there, his gaze calm, arms crossed, silent. Eventually, Victor, exhausted from yelling, turned and walked away in disgrace. Later, in a book, Leon wrote, "True victory isn't defeating your enemy. It's not letting him drag you down to his level." That story resonates with our lives today. From a young age, you're taught that if attacked, you must fight back. If challenged, you must prove yourself right. But what happens when you do? When someone hurls an insult like, "You don't know anything," do you think they want to hear your explanation? No. They want you to get angry, to lose your cool, because every time you react, they gain control. You're rowing a boat down the river of life. Someone throws a stone, and instead of keeping on, you stop, pick it up, throw it back, only to find yourself lost. Reacting has become a habit, a reflex so natural, you no longer think about it. A friend says something hurtful, and instantly, you dive into an argument, voice rising, heart pounding, trying to justify yourself. But afterward, what do you gain? A sincere apology? A handshake of reconciliation? Rarely. Instead, you walk away with a heavy mind, wondering why you let a petty thing ruin your day. That's the invisible trap of reacting, a cycle you push yourself into, handing your precious energy to those who don't deserve it. But what if you stepped out of that trap? What if you stood firm like Leon, watching the storm come and go without flinching? That's not apathy. It's a secret strength, an art few master, the power of letting go. In a few minutes, you'll see why not reacting doesn't just save your energy. It gives you real control over your life. Let's explore that now. Take a moment to recall the last time you argued, maybe with a close friend, a family member, or even a stranger online. How did you feel walking away from that fight? Satisfied because you won? Or just empty, like you'd run a marathon with no finish line? The harsh truth is, every time you respond to a provocation, you don't just lose time. You lose a piece of your own strength. You're holding a precious gem in your hand, then carelessly tossing it into the river just because someone yells, "Throw it." You're sitting in a quiet cafe, sipping hot tea, savoring a rare moment of peace. Suddenly, a stranger walks up, points at you, and says, "That shirt is hideous." Instinct kicks in. Your face flushes, heart races, ready to snap back. What do you know about fashion? But pause for a second. Does that person really care about your shirt? Or do they just want to see you flustered, to make you drop your calm so they feel bigger? Every time you take the bait, you hand them a victory they don't deserve. Think back to Leon in the story. What made him unbeatable? Not just in combat, but in his mind. Not because he always fought back, but because he knew when not to. In his time, honor was everything. An insult could spark a violent clash. But Leon understood that reacting wasn't always defending honor. Sometimes, it was just digging your own grave. Leon once said, The real enemy isn't the one in front of you. It's the loss of control within you. That's the secret. Strength isn't in defeating others, but in keeping yourself steady. Look at life today. It still holds true. When someone throws a punch, your job is worthless. They're not seeking truth. They want you to jump up, dive into a war of words, so they can stand there smirking, while you exhaust yourself. It's an invisible tug of war. The harder you pull, the more they win, because they don't need to do anything but watch you fall. But what if you let go of the rope? What if you stand still, smile, and let them pull themselves down? Suddenly, you're not just saving energy, you're taking back control. I've seen this in real life. My friend Hong used to get sucked into arguments all the time. Once, during a group meeting, a colleague named Nam deliberately said, "Your idea is so stupid." Instead of exploding like usual, Hong shrugged, gave a small smile, and said, "Yeah, maybe you're right." The room went silent. Nam was stunned, unsure what to do next, and the meeting moved on without drama. Later, Hong told me, "I realized arguing just tires me out and changes nothing. Better to let them embarrass themselves." That's when I understood. Not reacting isn't losing. It's winning in the subtlest way. So why do we so easily give away our strength? Because from childhood, we're taught that silence is weakness, that not responding is surrender. But what if silence isn't giving up? It's a weapon. What if letting go isn't avoidance, but a way to reclaim the game? True strength isn't in shouting louder. It's in standing still when others expect you to crumble. When you master that, when you learn to watch the storm pass without letting it sweep you away, you'll see a simple truth. No one can steal your peace unless you hand it to them. The next part will take you deeper into this art, the art of not reacting. You'll discover how a glance, a smile, or silence can make you the strongest person in the room without saying a word. Get ready, because this is where you start rethinking every conflict in your life. Have you ever stood in front of someone yelling, face red, arms flailing, and wondered, why do I have to join this mess? Most of us don't ask. We dive in, like moths to a flame, only to burn out in a fire that didn't need to be lit. But I'll show you a way to put out that fire. Not with water, not with words, but with stillness. It's the art of not reacting. A secret weapon so powerful, it can make even the fiercest aggressor back down without you lifting a finger. You're in a tense meeting. A colleague named Lan, voice dripping with sarcasm, says, "Your idea is useless. No one could use it." The room grows heavy, all eyes on you, waiting for a dramatic showdown. But instead of jumping up, you sit there, take a deep breath, offer a slight smile, and say, "Thanks for your input." Then silence. No defense, no attack. What happens next? Lan falters, confused, because she threw her hardest punch and hit nothing but air. The fire she tried to start has no fuel to burn, and you, with no effort, hold your ground. Listen to the story of Elias, a student on a quest for clarity. Elias faced his teacher, Amos, a stern man who shouted relentlessly to test his mind. While other students trembled or argued back, Elias sat still, eyes half closed, breathing steady. After hours, Amos stopped, looked at Elias, and said, "You've passed the test." Not with words, but with the resolve in your heart. Later, Elias became a great teacher, not for his eloquence, but for the strength of his stillness in the storm. That stillness isn't passivity, it's a conscious choice. When someone provokes you, they're like a trumpeter, blowing a loud note, waiting for you to dance to their tune. But what if you don't dance? What if you stand still, gaze calm, not a word in reply? They'll blow harder, shout louder, but eventually, like a whining child ignored, they'll tire and give up. I saw this on a subway once. A man named Carl yelled curses at everyone, looking for a fight. Most avoided him or muttered back. But an old woman named Rose nearby just looked at Carl, gave a gentle smile, then returned to her book. Soon, Carl quieted down, mumbled, and left at the next stop. Rose's stillness did what words couldn't. This isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending not to care. It's about observing and choosing. Ask yourself, is this fight worth it? Where will it take me? Or is it just an endless spiral? Every time you choose to respond, you're spending attention. And attention, like gold, something you never get back. But when you don't react, you don't just save energy, you turn the tables. The provocateur wants you to lose your cool, to join their chaos. When you refuse, they become the fool standing alone on stage, with no one clapping. Our ego often roars, if I don't respond, they'll think I've lost. But look deeper. Who really loses when you stand firm, unshaken, while they exhaust themselves? A calm mind is like a mountain. Winds may stir the dust, but the mountain stands tall. When you practice the art of not reacting, you become that mountain. You're not numb. You just choose not to let emotions drag you along. A steady glance, a faint smile, or simple silence can be more powerful than 1,000 rebuttals. The magic is this. When you don't give them the reaction they crave, they lose their grip on you. I once argued with my brother, Min. He yelled, trying to pull me into an old family dispute. Instead of debating like before, I just said, "You might be right," then stepped outside to breathe. When I returned, Min had calmed down and even apologized for getting heated. That stillness didn't just save me from a tense afternoon. It changed how Min saw me from then on. The art of not reacting isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's a path to training your mind. When you observe without responding, you'll see anger, frustration, or the need to defend yourself are just fleeting waves on the sea of your soul. If you don't stir them, they fade. The next part will go deeper. How to turn this stillness into a lasting strength, not just to escape the storm, but to live a life nothing can shake. Let's keep going. If stillness is a weapon, how do you make it an inseparable part of you? You're an ancient oak in a forest. Winds howl, branches sway, but your roots grip the earth, unshakable. That's the state you can reach, not just dodging the storm of provocation, but living a life nothing can uproot. This isn't a fantasy. It's a real journey, where stillness doesn't just help you avoid conflict, but forges your mind into an impregnable fortress. Start with an ordinary day. You're driving, and a driver named Jake cuts you off, yelling, "Idiot, what kind of driving is that?" Before you'd honk furiously, heart pounding, ready for a pointless road war. This time, try something different. Take a deep breath. Rest your hands lightly on the wheel and smile. Not because you're happy, but because you know what isn't worth ruining your day. Something magical happens. The anger drifts away like a lazy cloud, and you keep driving, feeling lighter. That's the first step, realizing you can choose not to ripple your own lake. Listen to the story of Finn, a young, hot-headed warrior easily provoked. One day, a rival named Rex mocked Finn in front of their teacher Theo. "You're trash, unfit to be a warrior." Finn reached for his weapon, but Theo put a hand on his shoulder, whispering, "Sit, breathe, look within." Reluctantly, Finn obeyed, focusing on his breath. And for the first time, he saw anger not as strength, but as a burden. From then on, Finn spent each morning training his mind to resist emotional waves. Over time, Finn became not just a skilled warrior, but a man no one could unsettle. You don't need to be a warrior or spend hours to do this. The secret lies in self-observation. Next time someone jabs, "Your job is so boring," don't rush to reply. Pause. Feel what rises in you. A bruised ego, fear of being dismissed, or just reflex? Ask, where's this feeling coming from? When you observe without acting, it's like an uninvited guest. It'll come and go if you don't open the door. This isn't suppression, it's mastery. Turning fleeting impulses into something you control, not something that controls you. This small practice holds more power than you think. I used to be hot-tempered, a wrong word, and I'd explode. But once, when my sources, Lynn, criticized me harshly in front of the team, I tried staying silent, breathing, asking myself, is this worth it? Instead of arguing, I nodded and said, I'll look into it. Afterward, not only did the anger fade, but I found ways to improve my work from her critique. Lynn later admitted, I thought you'd fight back, but your calm made me rethink. That stillness didn't just save me from conflict. It opened doors I hadn't expected. To make it a lasting strength, practice regularly. Spend a few minutes daily sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, letting thoughts drift by like clouds. You don't chase them. Don't block them. When you get used to not reacting to the chaos in your head, you'll naturally do it with words from outside. It's like training a muscle. The more you teach it, the stronger it gets. When your mind steadies, insults and arguments become mere breezes, unable to touch your roots. Your surroundings matter too. If you're always around argumentative people, negative news, or pointless debates, your mind gets swept into that current. But if you choose moments of stillness, a good book, a friend who listens, or birds chirping outside, you'll find peace isn't something you seek, but something you build. Finn learned this. It's not the outer enemy that weakens you, but the inner chaos you don't tame. When you master this, when you not only avoid the storm but stand firm in it, without wavering, you'll uncover a truth. No one can steal your peace unless you let them. The next part will take you to the final step. How to use this stillness, not just to defend, but to live a life truly free, where every conflict is a fleeting shadow. Let's move forward. Have you ever felt like a bird trapped in a cage, flapping wildly whenever someone taps the bars? Criticism, arguments, scornful glances. Now the cage door swings open, and you soar, no longer bound by those taps. That's true freedom. Not controlling others, not winning every fight, but living a life where nothing outside can shake you. This is the destination of the journey, turning stillness into the key that unlocks that door. So you don't just avoid conflict, you rise above it forever. A day without the burden of reacting looks like this. You wake up, see a nasty comment online. Your post is stupid. Before you'd spend hours typing back, heart racing, trying to prove yourself. Now you scroll past, shrug, and play a favorite song. At noon, a colleague named Tuan smirks. You work slow as a turtle. You chuckle softly today. Yeah, I might need more exercise. And keep eating. Unbothered. What's changed? Not the world, but you. You're no longer a puppet jerked by every word or action. Listen to the story of Henry, an elderly man in a rural village, known for his uncanny calm. One day, a group of local youths, led by Jack, decided to test him. They banged on his door shouting, "Useless old man, come out and argue with you." Henry stepped out, holding a glass of water, yelling, "Thanks for stopping by. Want a drink?" Jack and the gang froze, unsure how to respond, then slunk away. Later, someone asked, "Why didn't you get mad?" Henry replied, "Anger is a burden I don't carry. I choose to keep my glass of water." A simple story, but profound. Freedom isn't changing others. It's not letting them change you. This freedom starts with a simple choice. You don't have to join every battle you are invited to. When someone provokes, they are like a person on a riverbank, throwing stones to make waves. Before you were the water, each stone rippled you, disturbed you. Now, you're the river. Stones fall, but you keep flowing, never stopping, never turning back. I once argued fiercely about politics with my friend Long. He yelled, face red, trying to drag me in. But that time I said, I get how you feel. Then went quiet. Long stopped, panting, and finally said, why bother arguing? That day I didn't just keep my peace. I kept our friendship. Everything passes. An insult, a sneer, a shouting match. They are just clouds drifting across your mind's skates. If you don't cling to them, they dissolve. But we often do the opposite. We grab hold, let them weigh us down, like picking up stones on a path and tying them to our feet. When you learn to let go, you're not just lighter, you're stronger than ever. Why? Because no one can cage you with words or actions anymore. You become free, not because the world stops throwing stones, but because you stop picking them up. The best part is, when you live like this, others notice. Those who once provoked you lose interest. They don't get the reaction they want. People who dragged you into drama fade away. You're no longer a player in their game. At a class reunion, an old friend named Kwa tried stirring up past tension. You're still so full of yourself. I laughed. Maybe I'm still learning humility. Kwa hesitated, changed the topic, and the night passed peacefully. When you don't bite, everything around you shifts. Not because you force it, but because you've risen above. This is true freedom. No need to win. No need to prove. Just living true to your peace. You're not trapped in reacting. You soar, watching conflicts pass beneath you like wind under wings. But how do you hold on to this freedom amidst life's storms? The next part will show you how to build an unshakable mind, where every word, every challenge is just a distant echo, unable to touch you. Let's keep exploring. Have you ever dreamed of a day when every criticism, every provocation, every chaotic noise of the world glides past you like wind on a mountaintop, leaving no trace, not swaying you even a bit? That's not a far-off dream. It's the real destination of an unshakable mind. This isn't just dodging conflict or keeping temporary peace. It's building an inner fortress where you stand firm amid life's trials, untouchable. The journey isn't easy, but each step is a brick, turning you into someone nothing can topple. Start with a simple truth. Your mind is like a garden. If you let weeds, negative emotions, toxic words grow unchecked, they'll choke out every beautiful flower. But if you tend it, choosing what takes root, that garden will thrive no matter the weather. One morning, as I sipped coffee, my neighbor Fong banged on my door, grumbling, "Your dog barked all night. Why don't you control it?" Before I'd snap, "It only barked a bit, why so sensitive?" This time I breathed, said, "Sorry, I'll keep an eye on it." Fong blinked, nodded, and left. I didn't just keep the peace, I kept my mind from pointless anger. Listen to the story of teacher Isaac. Isaac was once falsely accused by a village girl named Clara of fathering her child. The villagers stormed over, cursing and throwing stones. But Isaac calmly replied, "Oh, is that so?" When the baby was born, Isaac took it in without a word of defense. A year later, Clara confessed the real father was someone else. The villagers returned to apologize. Isaac just said, "Oh, is that so?" and handed the child back. Isaac didn't get swept into drama or let words sway him. His mind was a still lake, unrippled no matter how many stones fell. How do you reach that state? The key is daily practice. Start small. When someone says something harsh, You're terrible. Don't react right away. Pause, observe what rises in you. A stung ego. Need to prove yourself? Ask, will this matter in a week? If not, let it go, like water through your fingers. I tried this when my friend Dewey harshly criticized my parenting. Instead of arguing, I said, "You've got a point. I'll think about it." The anger melted, and later, Dewey admitted he'd overstepped. My mind didn't just stay calm. It grew stronger for not being pulled off course. Training isn't just handling the heat. It's building a lasting foundation. Spend 5 minutes daily, sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, letting thoughts pass like cars on a road. You don't chase them. Don't stop them. When you get used to not being tugged by inner chaos, outer words lose their power over you. It's like forging a sword. Each hammer strike sharpens it. When your mind steadies, insults and arguments become distant echoes, unable to pierce your fortress. Your environment is key too. If you're always near argumentative people, sensational news, or pointless drama, your mind becomes a non-stop battlefield. But if you choose stillness, a morning without your phone, a deep talk with a loved one, or rustling leaves outside, you'll see peace isn't something you find, but something you cultivate. Isaac didn't rage because he didn't let weeds grow in his mind. And you can do the same. Humor's a weapon too. When someone says, "You can't do anything right," instead of tensing up, laugh. "Yep, I'm a masterpiece of mess." That lightness doesn't just diffuse conflict. It makes you stronger because you don't let their words define you. Once in a meeting, a colleague named Vin jabbed, "Your presentation was boring as hell." I replied, "Thanks, I'm aiming for the most boring record this year." The room laughed. Tension dissolved. I didn't just hold my ground. I turned it to my advantage. When your mind is unshakable, you don't just weather the storm. You stand atop the mountain, watching everything pass without blinking. This is the peak of freedom. No one, nothing can steal your peace because it's rooted deep within, independent of the outside world. The final part will pose the big question. How do you use this strength to live fully? Not just escaping conflict, but building a life worth living. Let's reach the end together. You've come a long way, from the invisible trap of reacting, through the art of not responding, to the unshakable fortress of your mind. But if it all stopped at avoiding conflict, would that be enough? Now it's time for the biggest question. How do you use this strength, not just to survive, but to live fully? A life where you're not just free from the chains of words and clashes, but every moment shines with your own light. This is the story's conclusion, where letting go isn't just a shield, but a flame lighting your path. Your life is like a painting. Before, every criticism, every argument was a sloppy stroke, blurring the colors you wanted to create. Now, with the power of letting go, you hold the brush. One morning, you get an email from your boss. "Tom, your report is awful. Redo it." Instead of spiraling into stress, you breathe, nod at the screen, think, "Here's a chance to do better." You don't argue, don't beat yourself up. You act, and your painting glows with a new, brighter stroke. Letting go doesn't just keep you calm. It clears space for you to create, to live true to yourself. Listen to the story of Owen, a craftsman famed for brewing drinks. Once, a powerful man named Marcus harshly criticized Owen. "Your drinks are bland, worthless." The crowd waited for Owen to defend himself. His reputation was at stake. But Owen bowed, smiled. "Thank you for the guidance. I'll keep learning." Then he quietly perfected each glass, unshaken by the words. In time, Marcus became Owen's biggest fan. Owen didn't win with words. He won by living fully in his craft, letting go of what didn't deserve to cloud his vision. Living fully doesn't mean dodging every challenge. It's how you face them. When someone throws at you, you'll never succeed. You don't need to prove them wrong. Let them talk while you keep building your dream, day by day. Someone once mocked me when I started writing a book. You write something good? No way. Instead of arguing, I stayed quiet, sat down, and wrote. 2 years later, when the book launched, that person, Nga, called to congratulate me. Letting go didn't just shield me from anger. It gave me strength to focus on what mattered. Happiness doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from releasing what isn't yours. Every harsh word, every pointless fight, they are someone else's baggage, not yours. When you stop taking them on, you're light as a bird gliding through the sky, no longer weighed down by stones others throw. The real beauty is the energy you save. Once drained by endless battles, now fuel for your passions, your loves, the moments you want to live fully. Try this today. When someone provokes you, a nasty remark, a sarcastic jab, don't react on impulse. Pause, smile, ask yourself, is this worth my time? If not, walk away. Let them hold their own mess. Once, a stranger named Sam yelled at me on the street. "Slowpoke, hurry up." I turned, grinned. "Thanks for the reminder. I'll try." And kept going. Sam went quiet. I felt free. Not because I won, but because I didn't let Sam drag me down. The ultimate power of letting go is this. It doesn't just free you from conflict. It gives you wings to rise beyond limits. You no longer live to react, to prove, or to please. You live for you. And in that freedom, you find the deepest joy. When you let go of what's unworthy, you make room for what's worthy. The dreams you cherish, the people you love, a life you're proud to call yours. This is the final invitation. Live one day with this strength. See how everything shifts when you're not pulled into pointless drama, when you hold the brush and paint your life's canvas. If this story touched you, share it with someone, because everyone's been drained by unnecessary battles, and everyone deserves to be free. I'd love to hear your story. A moment you let go and found yourself again. Tell it below. If you want to keep this journey going, join me. Thank you for coming this far. Now step out and live fully.